How you doing? Hope everybody's having a Barak day, blessed day. Hey, and salute to the saints. Yeah, that's my saying. Salute to the saints. You know, you got everybody coming on here now talking about that, or trying to mock pastor, talking about salute to the saints, peace to the saints. You know, no, it's salute to the saints. Yeah, there's other varieties, other people out there saying other things, but nah, it's salute to the saints. Hey, and there's lady saints too. I ain't just talking to the men. I'm not exclusive. You know, hey, it's just, you know, the Bible is patriarchy. It was written to men. When you look at it, certain parts you can tell are women biased. You know, they're not women biased, but they're written to women. They're gendered toward women. And then, you know, so you just gotta, you know, read it. And you gotta be led by the Spirit. You gotta be led by the Spirit. You know, I've heard women say, why does the Bible sound like it's just written towards men? Well, because men were the leaders. Men are the leaders. It's God, Christ, man, woman. God gives the message to his prophets. His prophets give it to the men. The men are the leaders. They're going to spread the word. They're going to, you know, go into different parts of cities and towns and neighborhoods, you know, and each man down to his household. You know, each man is going to instruct his household. That's patriarchy. That's what the Bible intends for us to do. That's what God, the Most High Yah, intends for us to do, is live a patriarch life. You know, we're becoming, I'm not going to get off into the matriarchy. We can already see how that's happening. But, like, to answer her question, I could do it in multiple ways, but let's just keep it simple. I hope you've heard me. I had the windows down. And I've been trying to kind of look at my gauges and check my gauges on this new truck. But yes, saints. So she asked, you know, why does the Bible seem like it's talking just to men, or it's written towards men? And just with her asking that question shows the lack of knowledge, right? It just does. So we already know where to start. She hasn't been trained up in the way. She hasn't been trained up in the order of the Most High Yah. So you have to know where to start with when you hear a question. You have to really hear it. Every word means something, how it's worded. Okay? So they asked, why is it written towards men? Because who gave the law to Israel? Moses. And when he spoke to the men, when he spoke to the whole congregation, right? But then, why does Paul echo the sentiments of Moses giving the law to the people, a man? What'd he say? If a woman has a question during the assembly, during, you know, the worship and the teaching of Sabbath, or at the meeting, at the holy meetings, what did Paul say for the woman to do if she has a question about something that's being taught? It said for her to ask her husband at home. Not right there in the middle of everything. Not go ask the pastor or the elder, or go talk to the deacon, or just ask out loud in the middle of the service. No, it says ask thy husband at home. If you desire to learn anything, ask her husband at home. Go check this out, written by Paul in the New Testament. Okay? Because we have a lot of this going on right now of women being pastors, women preachers. And I say it's just happening because it's been happening, you know, these last 20, 30 years, but even before that, it has happened here and there. But we have thousands of years where women never dared to try to take the leadership in the place of a man. We have women calling themselves prophets. The Bible never called a woman a prophet. It's a prophetess. Just a simple understanding of languages. And if you don't study the Hebrew, which is what they call the Old Testament, and you don't study, which also is the New Testament, but also Greek, which is a European language, and we know Hebrew, that right there is our language, the so-called African American. That is our dialect, Hebrew. And then you got Greek. If you don't study these two languages, you're gonna be severely off when it comes to doctrine. You know, the way of salvation, you can still get that without knowing Hebrew and Greek. You can come into salvation without knowing Hebrew and Greek. I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that. I know a lot of people are going, you know, not like that, but it's the truth, and we're gonna put it out there because we don't hide. We don't throw rocks and hide hands. No, that's not what we do. So if we say something, we stand on it. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. Put it in the comments. Be a man of honor. Be a woman of honor. And put the scripture. Not only when you, and if you're a woman and a younger man, you shouldn't even correct an elder without admonishing him as an elder and as a father. You know, it says, do not rebuke an elder without one or two witnesses. So if you don't believe I'm in the right, and then on top of that, so then put a scripture with it as your second witness, and get a second witness, and you know, preferably someone else that you've looked into this and studied with after you've come to try to correct me, and then put the scripture and bring the person, and y'all write it in the comments and tell me where I'm wrong, and I'll be humbly glad to be a Berean like I am, and go and search the scriptures and see where I'm in error, if I'm in error. So with that, saints, I baruch you, bless you. You have a blessed day. I salute you in the Most High Yah, and I pray that he covers you with his grace and mercy. With that, shalom, shalom. Salute to the saints.